Welcome back, everyone, to another YouTube video. Today, we've got part 2 of my potential NBA breakout stars. And the premise of this whole thing is that these are players that I think have the potential, given the right scenario, to be stars in the NBA, whether that's this year, next year, a couple years down the road. These are players that I think could be the future of the NBA. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Is super slept on, and that's Anthony Simmons. He's an underrated guard that is just waiting to break out with more playing time in Portland. He was ranked as the 8th best prospect in the class of 2018, according to the 247 Sports Composite ranking, and he decided to skip college and was eligible for the 2018 NBA draft, where he was selected 24th overall to the Trailblazers, and he's been there since. His minutes per game went from 7.1 to 20.7 from his rookie year to his second season, and his points went from 3.8 to 8.3. His free throw percentage went from 56.3 to 82.6%. And his turnover percentage decreased from 13.6% to 9.6%. With more minutes, you would expect maybe him to have more turnovers, but it's the exact opposite. He has a true shooting percentage of 50.2%, so that definitely needs to improve because the league average was 56.5% last year. But what I'm trying to say is this kid is learning at a very fast rate. Outside of the stats is where I'm highest on Simmons. He's learning behind one of the best backcourts in all of basketball right now in Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. The knowledge that he is obtaining is crazy. Both him and Gary Trent Jr. are in great position to take the keys in a few years. Honestly, this path is underrated for draftees. Take a backseat role and learn right away instead of having to have the burden of producing right away. He can learn and develop instead of having pressure right off the bat. And I think when Simmons starts to have more responsibility on his back, he could really be a household name. Next up, we've got Darius Garland, who had a disappointing, underwhelming, but also a bit promising rookie year. He was selected 5th overall in the 2019 NBA draft to the Cleveland Cavaliers, so his expectations have been high. But according to reports, he's looking leaner, stronger, and has renewed confidence in training camp. He holds himself to high standards, as he should, but he was not happy with his play thus far in his career. Cleveland had the lowest assist-to-turnover ratio in the entire league last year at 1.389. Garland himself had a 1.5 ratio, which is less than ideal for a guard. His turnover percentage last year was 17.1%, while the league average was 12.8%. So yes, he's underperforming, but that is where I think he can surprise people once he finds his footing. His improvement may get exaggerated because of his flaws from the first year, but as we're already seeing this year, he's playing so much better. He's a 6'1" point guard, so he may be a bit undersized, but I think his weaknesses from last year are more a product of growing pains rather than something he cannot control. Another potential NBA star, and when I say star, I really mean it, is Kobe White. I feel like Kobe White's been underrated for his entire life, in my opinion. He was ranked as the 25th best prospect in the class of 2018, and he was even selected 7th overall in the 2020 NBA draft by the Chicago Bulls, but I still feel like he does not get the attention that he deserves. He only shot 39.4% from the field in his rookie year, but his three-point percentage was 35.4%, which is around league average. And for him to do this as a rookie, I think is a really good sign, especially when he's not really known for his shooting. He shot 35.3% in college, so a slight improvement is always a good sign. Just the other night in the preseason, I know it's preseason, he had 27 points, but I think when he gets more shot opportunities and more time to have the ball in his hands, I think his production goes up. I think Chicago is a team that's going to surprise a lot of people this year. They've got a great young core, and White seems to be leading them as a point guard. I think a promising rookie campaign makes him look great for the future. The next player is someone that I would buy stock in right now if you haven't done so, and that's Cam Reddish. He was playing so well before the season got suspended due to COVID, and he started out slow, but man, his improvement has been something to see. He proved me and so many other people wrong. He's always been highly touted. He was the number 2 ranked recruit according to the 247 Sports Composite out of high school, but he's also been doubted so much too. His main criticism coming out of college was his motor and defensive effort, but he turned both of those on their side last year, looking like a legitimate perimeter defender, and his offensive game is elite as it is. He's a 6'8" scoring wing and defender. His percentages and stats were nothing special last year, 10.5 points and on 38.4% shooting and 33.2% from 3, but the impact goes deeper than that. He averaged 1.07 steals per game last year, and he was ranked 52nd in the entire NBA as a rookie in that category. Now with a legitimate offense with the Hawks and some key pieces and additions and guys like Onyeka Okongwu, I think the Hawks have a chance to make a run, and Cam Reddish can be a very big piece of that team. Based on the trend he's had, buy stock in Cam Reddish now. The next name we've got on the list is Kevin Porter Jr., who's just a pure bucket that plays with competitiveness and is always working on his craft. You always see videos of him working out with Chris Brickley, elite NBA trainer. Porter Jr. has been in the news recently with legal charges, but they have been dropped. He had similar stats to Reddish, but like Reddish, he's trending upward. He looks to be a lot more comfortable in the NBA than people thought. And I think this is such an underrated quality of these draft picks. There's a lot of draft picks that come in and they just look flustered right when they get into an NBA game. That's not the case with Kevin Porter Jr. He looks like he's been there for years, and it's clear. His mindset on the floor is what makes him great. Paulo Banchero calls him a mean player, and that's just a great way to describe him. He is looking to attack you in every way possible. He looks to be having an increasing role in Cleveland, so I think with more touches and as he gets older, his production should steadily increase, and that seems to be a theme with this episode. He's a young player, only 20, so he projects to have a long career at this point. All right, the last player on my list of potential breakout NBA stars is Bol Bol, and I feel like you just have to put this kid here. He's one of the most intriguing players in recent years. 7'2" center with guard skills, very modern big man with an elite offensive game, even on the perimeter. He's always been a player that people have been interested with. He was ranked as the 4th best prospect in the class of 2018. He only played 9 games at Oregon, but he averaged 21 points, 9.6 rebounds on 56.1% shooting from the field and 52% from 3. He was drafted 44th overall. That's such a steal. I don't care who you are at 44. I don't care if Bol Bol fits you or not. If he's there at 44, you take him. He's thin and looks a bit unorthodox with the ball on the perimeter, but the shot goes in, and he can handle the ball exceptionally well for his size. His stats aren't great, but per 36 minutes, the stats look a lot better. 16.6 points and 8.6 rebounds to be exact. Once he gets more games under him and actually gets more minutes, he will produce more. He's so unique in a mismatch nightmare. Who guards him? Who picks him up in the fast break? Who guards him on the perimeter? He's just so unique. Shaq is quoted as saying that out of everyone in the 2018 draft class, he would start a franchise with Bol Bol. And honestly, we might see that come true in the coming years. Thank you everyone for tuning in to another YouTube video. I appreciate the support as always. It means so much to have an audience that is willing to support me. But before we end it, I want to do my Bible verse that I always do in every video. And today we've got Romans 3:23. It says, "For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God." And I think this is just a big perspective check. It's easy in the society we live in to say, oh, at least I'm not as bad as this person. At least I don't do what this person does. But no, we're all sinners. All of us fall short of the glory of God. Every single one of us disobeys God. And that's just the way it is. We all live in sin. And most of us love our sin, to be honest. So that comparing game of, at least I don't do this, is very dangerous because we're all sinners. None of us deserve to go to heaven. God has no obligation to let us into heaven. The only thing that saves us is our trust in Him, our belief in Him, and His grace. Nothing we can do can make us clean. We are cleaned by God Himself. Thank you for watching another YouTube video. I appreciate all the support as always. More videos dropping soon. Stay blessed.